Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action. It's WrestleMania. Finally, we have made it to the review and recap of night 2 of WrestleMania. As you can see, I am joined by Scott and Lucas. We have no Rob joining us today. Unfortunately, life has got in the way. Rob is at work, so obviously.
Oh, we all know why he hasn't shown up, boys. Come on, let's be real.
Yeah, he's pipped at the post. So,
he can't show his face. Well, he never does anyway, but still.
He can't show his mask.
Even more so won't show his face now. So, but yeah, WrestleMania is now out of the way. It's in the rearview mirror, and well, WrestleMania, the event, is out of the way, but WrestleMania, the name, is going to continue through to the next pay-per-view.
Are we getting there already? Are we going there already?
With WrestleMania Backlash coming up, but yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later on. But yeah, shall we dive straight into WrestleMania?
Let's do it.
So, WrestleMania Night 2, we kicked off with The Fiend versus Randy Orton. My first note for this match, Randy Orton wearing white. It's taken him all this time to actually wear different gear, and whether it was subconscious or not, but his gear matched Edge's gear somewhat. And
I did feel like they might have had a little meeting backstage and said, we'll represent the old team.
The old rated RKO, and and then obviously the Fiend changing appearance during his entrance and a new mask. So yeah, what did you guys think of this anyway?
I did start to double take and think, maybe that whole rumor thing about a second Fiend is true, because he did look like he's lost quite a bit of weight. And obviously being a newer mask, his hair looks a little different as well. So I was thinking, what's going on there? But it was. I actually think it shouldn't have been the opener, but I thought it was decent. But it just because not much happened. It was like the spectacle kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? It should have been more in the middle of the show, because usually you want that fast-paced, exciting match to open it. But it was good. I think the placement was wrong. I think people might get hung up about the whole, the fact it's not burnt anymore. But like that was gonna happen in the end, wasn't it? So like it might as well just do it now and do it with a silly little entrance, which I really enjoyed, by the way. Enjoyed the entrance, and I'm intrigued what's going to happen next with Alexa Bliss, because that was confusing.
I don't think they know what's going on with it.
Did you hear that? A certain device just went off because I said Bliss's name.
Oh yes.
Alexa, turn off. Is that a thing?
I don't know.
I tried not to say her name ever again.
It'd be like, okay, thank you.
Look, this is a bit weird, wasn't it? For the opener, I believe one of those where they entered probably longer than the match. I liked how it was done, and I'm with you. I think obviously they were going to make the burnt Fiend, not like become the Fiend again. So why not do it at WrestleMania? People go on about what them when they don't do something at WrestleMania. But look, I was surprised that Orton won. I thought it was geared up for the Fiend, but I don't know where the Fiend goes from now, because he hasn't won a match in like 7 months now, I think. 3 of those off television for.
Yeah, he hasn't had many though. But yeah.
But I mean,
he's won the same amount this year as Bo Dallas has. To be fair, Bray Wyatt.
The conspiracy goes on.
But look, again, like we said it yesterday about the pacing. I thought the pacing was good on this show, but we get to something soon that wasn't good with regards to pacing, because the matches were quite short, some of them, and this was one of those ones that was quite short. About giving Randy Orton a 5-minute match at WrestleMania, that's a bit. Yeah. Hey ho, here we go.
I mean, it does seem like he does open WrestleMania as well. Like he seems like that's like a decent enough spot for him. He seems like he likes just to get in and get out. And I actually saw something earlier that so because obviously the attendance was so small, they didn't have any complimentary tickets for their families. So Randy Orton essentially said that he had to pay $20,000 to get his wife and 5 children to watch him at WrestleMania for a 5-minute match.
That is crazy.
$20,000 to get 5 people to watch.
But I mean, so who's he paid? He's paid for tickets.
Bought the tickets, yeah. He had to. Yeah, they had to buy tickets because there's no complimentary tickets otherwise it's going to take tickets away from the
surely
fans.
They can reimburse him.
Yeah,
to be fair, they probably are anyway. Well, they're paying him. He's then paying the company, and then he'll get his wage check, and there'll be
a nice little extra WrestleMania bonus.
Yeah, he'll get enough.
Someone like Randy Orton, $20 is $20.
$20. It probably feels like $20 to him, though. Yeah.
$20,000. It's nothing to him anyway. And I guess if that's the price he has to pay, in these times to do a show in front of his family, I guess maybe he's thinking it might be worth it. I guess.
And then obviously, Lucas, you were the only one that actually correctly selected the winner of this match. We all thought the Fiend was gonna take his revenge, so to speak, on Randy Orton, but it shows that an RKO is just as powerful as setting a man on fire.
Or what was it, about 7 stomps when he faced Seth that time?
Yeah, something like that.
So an RKO is, but yeah, we get to how moves on this show was, like the finishers they have seemed to mean a bit more at this Mania, so it kind of makes sense in the bigger scheme of things.
Yeah, so I think we've covered that match pretty much. Obviously, me, Scott, and Rob all went incorrectly with the Fiend. So another match where we all went incorrect. I mean, it was a great start for us, to be fair. Like, we got 0 points, me, Scott, and Rob, for the first 2 matches. So it then led into the tag team championship match, or the women's tag title match. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax defending against Natalia and Tamina. So yeah, I saw you had some thoughts on this, Lucas, from your In a Nutshell video. Don't forget, go back and watch that. If you want a quick review of WrestleMania in under 10 minutes, then check Lucas's In a Nutshell video. There'll be a hangover one from Scott, which will go up later tonight. Am I right?
Some point.
It will go up at some point.
The hangover is still continuing, to be honest, boys. But it's it's a fun one.
But yeah, so that'll be there. And obviously, Lucas had some thoughts on this match, didn't you, mate? And obviously,
the thing with this match is I just felt that it should have been Tamina's moment, really. And I just don't understand why they just didn't do it. Just for, like they've done with Zack Ryder, just for like a day, just so she's physically held a championship. And obviously, you just got the problem of this women's tag division is so poorly done, and it's so easy to fix, but they don't care. Just much like they don't care about the men's tag teams already, because they bumped those people off onto the SmackDown WrestleMania. But we get something that's worse about the WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel a bit bad for them as well. Like, I think Tamina, she got like a really good reaction. I think when she came out, there is that kind of feeling of like, even if people don't like her, which to be fair is the majority of the WWE audience, would probably either dislike or just don't really feel any other way about her. I think it is sort of thing of like, she's been there for 12 years. Like, she's in her 40s now. I believe she's the oldest female superstar they've got. She's older than Mickie James, isn't she? And so,
possibly, yeah.
It's a case of now, like, if you're not going to ever give her a championship, just release her. But they're not going to release her because obviously she's linked to the whole dynasty and with Superfly and all that kind of stuff, and that's very dear to their heart. Vince and the Samoans go back decades, don't they? Even to his father,
Yeah.
they go back. So she's never going to get released. But it's like, well, is she going to just keep having these one-off just moments of like, is she going to win? Because even like last year, we thought that she could win against Bayley, the 5-way, or when she faced Bayley at Money in the Bank. But then she just disappears for like 10 months.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. But
I completely agree, man. I think giving her, even if it was for a week or whatever else, like just something that she can look back on and say, I won I was a women's tag team champ. It's a real shame. Again, like you say, like not a lot of people are into her, but like if you take away your bias and you actually pay attention, then this year she's done pretty well when she's been used, and it would have been a nice moment. And yeah, it's a real shame because, as always with Tamina, it's like if not now, then when? And like you say, the age is obviously a factor as well. She's not going to be around the wrestling forever, so they kind of need to pull the trigger. And last night felt like another missed opportunity for that.
Yeah. I think it was especially so. I was talking with my partner about it this morning. Actually, she's like a big Natalia fan, and the fact that obviously the amount of time Natalia's been there as well, and she's only held I think 2 women's titles, or 2 or 3 times she's held the main title, and it's like you've got these 2 women that have been there for like over a decade pretty much each, and the fact that they can't even get, as Lucas said on his review, like even if it was just like they win it at WrestleMania and then lose it at WrestleMania Backlash, even if it's something like that, or something
that shudder.
Even if it's something as simple as they lose it, like even during this week, like you could have just done anything with it, or even have like the Bellas come out afterwards and like beat them and just say, "Oh, we'll challenge you for the titles now." At least they would have had that moment, kind of thing. But yeah, I just feel as though they're not really using them that well, and I mean, it is tricky. It's a tricky one, really, isn't it? Like,
because they shouldn't get just because they've been there for long, but it's a factor, I don't want people to misunderstand what we're saying here and think like
you don't want like the sympathy title,
it's not that. It's just that's a factor, Like another factor is the fact that Tamina has improved and she's been good this year. Another factor is the fact that one of the many thrown together tag teams, this one kind of makes sense, and again, and she's teamed with someone else in Natalia, like I said, who's also been overlooked. So, it's just going to get annoyed about it, boys. So maybe we should move on.
So we are going to move on now so I'm deliberately going to skip over. So I'm not going to do it in dead in order. I'm going to deliberately skip over the next match because there's significance to the next match. So I'm going to wait until we get to the end for that one. So for now, we're going to skip that and we're going to move on to the match for the United States Championship between Riddle and Sheamus. Now, I've actually seen there's been a report come out from Dave Meltzer, actually, that apparently the reason for Sheamus winning this match is apparently Riddle was never meant to have the US title. It was originally obviously scheduled for Keith Lee. They just had to get it off of Bobby Lashley somehow. They didn't want to put it on Morrison because obviously he was in the Bad Bunny feud. So it was just a case of get it off of somebody to transition it to somebody else. And I don't even think Sheamus was the initial challenger even for it. But
because I don't think Sheamus would have gone after Keith Lee. So.
And I mean, something else, obviously, it's going to give away, like, obviously, the results of the other matches. But something that I've noticed, so coming out of WrestleMania, every single male that holds a championship in WWE at the moment is a heel.
Wow.
Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, the main 2 titles. Then you've got Sheamus and Apollo, spoiler. Then the tag team titles are the Dirty Dogs, heel team. And the Raw tag team titles, AJ and Omos, heel team. Even if you go to NXT, like Karrion Kross, Johnny Gargano.
Wow. They're really going for this whole babyface chase, aren't they, for everyone?
I think MSK are the only, babyface champions. So
they didn't like Santos, his villain as well.
Yeah, Santos Escobar as well, cruiserweight champion. I mean,
and it's UK. Walter, get Akid.
Yeah,
Akid
Walter.
Heritage thing. And who are they initially tag champions? Oh, they're Howley and the face, aren't they? Okay. So the tags are face. Right.
It's pretty much like it's just, and then obviously the women. I mean, I don't know what alignment Rhea Ripley is, but
I think she's face.
I think she'll go out to be a face after last night. Yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like the women and obviously the women's tag titles are heels as well. So it's quite a heel-heavy like championship thing in WWE.
We know what they're doing now. They're going to change some of the champions at WrestleMania Backlash. The WrestleMania is not over. That's what they're doing.
Exactly.
So
yeah, sorry, I just went off on a little bit of a tangent there, actually. So let's get back to what we was initially talking about.
Riddle match.
Riddle versus Sheamus, the US title match. So I mean, I'll just quickly go first with my thoughts on this. I thought it was a decent enough match. Like, obviously, quite a back and forth match. It went just over 10 minutes, which was pretty decent. I think they covered the finish well, so it was like unfortunate that Sheamus slipped off the rope, but they did so well just to protect Riddle and still hold on to him. But the finish was sick though, when he came off and just booted him straight in the face.
But, and I think it was a great visual as well, seeing Riddle sitting there. I know like certain people aren't fans too much of his character and stuff, but after a performance like that, I don't know about you guys, but I couldn't help but just feel sorry for him sitting there with that face and the blood coming out, and like he genuinely got smacked in the face. And it was a great match. I really enjoyed this match. Like I saw again, Lucas, another shout out to your show there, but in a nutshell, you mentioned how like it was sad because Sheamus kind of like missed out on having that big moment, and you could see how frustrated he was about it. And I felt down, like seeing it. I was like, oh man, that's such a shame. And then a few minutes later I was like, oh, that's such a shame that Riddle's lost as well. So I think that's a good sign that they invested us in the match that much. They really it was a great performance from both guys. I think the right result, and I think they've stumbled across a happy accident there. Again, I know Riddle isn't too loved by a lot of people, but and there were things about his reign that were a bit weird, and his character in general. But I do think it's been a positive reign. It's given light to that title, and in a way that maybe the Keith Lee thing wouldn't have done. It would have been, Keith Lee would have been great coming out just being, I'm a dominant champ, but it's given it a bit of a story, this Sheamus storyline and Sheamus getting a hold of it. I've really enjoyed it.
And just on the subject of that, just a quick shout out, like just, whatever it is going on at the moment with Keith Lee, apparently he's still not cleared to wrestle. So, but, we just send our best wishes, whatever's going on, if it's an injury or, whatever it is, just get well soon and get back to the ring as soon as possible and come back healthy and, just keep entertaining us, mate.
I mean, like this seems to be one of those things where you said Meltzer reported on this. I've heard so much about this, how Keith Lee was meant to win it, but then they never had anyone. Surely there's no one to take it off Keith Lee. I mean, really, like who would
probably might have gone a few months in it to build him up, make him look strong.
Could have been multi-man.
So we're definitely in a scenario now where Sheamus is not meant to be US champion, and he won it off Riddle, who was not meant to be US champion. And so now I guess there has to be like a new direction for it. I think it's annoying if they did it last year. I guess I don't know if they can recycle it straight after, but I think Jeff needs a run with it. I think Jeff, he was one of the biggest omissions from this card, and I don't know why, how they let that happen. But in terms of this match though, like I think like I was just gutted for Sheamus, like when he slipped. I was into it quite a lot, to be fair, and it's just. The only thing that this match suffered with, along with the women's title match on this show, is the lack of build, because there's no more than obviously the wrestlers are fantastic in both those matches, but it's just a bit like there's no build to why they're having a match. Sheamus obviously was feuding with Drew, wasn't they, up until recently, and having those contests, and I guess that probably played a factor into him obviously. Becoming the US champion, because those performances were brilliant. And then Riddle was kind of just scooting around, wasn't he? Forgetting his lines. I mean,
the past month or so. You could tell it was largely like thrown together like within the last sort of few weeks as well. I think what makes it look a bit more thrown together is the fact obviously that Raw was so filmed obviously 2 weeks ago, the Raw that has just gone, but so they would have known then, but you'd think they would have had like some kind of idea. I mean, if you're not too sure on what you want to do, then you've got enough talent there on a 3-hour show to do a multi-man match. I mean, I know we say it all the time, but multi-man ladder matches at WrestleMania are always a good.
Yeah, they're always good fun. They're good fun. Someone who might be having some good fun is Mythic. Join us again. Thank you very much. Both nights of WrestleMania has inspired me to join a wrestling school after the pandemic. Go for it. Do it. There's a few good ones up and down the country. Obviously, in the UK, we've produced some decent talent over the past few years. We know that's where you're from for joining us in recent shows. Thanks again for joining us again. Lucas, I guess you could plug a school here, couldn't you?
Where was that T-shirt when you want it to be? I was right here.
Straight out of his washing pile.
There we go.
There you go.
Perfect in Essex. You're welcome to come down. But yeah,
have you had any big names come through there, mate?
Yeah. Well, back when I first started, we was packed with the class of Nick Aldis, Marty Skrull, Stu Bennett, for now Wade Barrett, of course, and we had Lewis Howley as well, the NXT UK Tag Champ. He's one of ours. So yeah, it's quite a few.
There you go. So if Mythic pops down, Mythic could be the next one on that list.
Yeah.
Or anyone else in the area.
Yeah, no, exactly. But now
I'm not sure.
Saying that, he's probably up north now, isn't he?
To say,
I think it's Scarborough, to be fair.
From Scarborough,
But if you're willing to travel, that's all the best podcasts go, or the Colt Cabana ones, talking about people traveling for 6 hours. So yeah,
go for it when obviously stuff opens up. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting. This, I think WrestleMania in particular, I saw a lot of posts from UK-based wrestlers from kind of all levels, and it seems that just seeing new wrestling in front of a crowd. That's the key thing. Because obviously you can watch old wrestling in front of a crowd, like there's loads of that. But seeing new wrestling in this day and age, it was a bit like it's an eye opener again. It's like
and it looked. I think it's because it looked fun for the wrestlers, because so many of them looked so overwhelmed by the fact that they were allowed to be in front of fans again, and you could see the passion. And I think that's it. I think that's exactly why this weekend has probably resonated more with people as far as inspiring people to get involved in the industry.
Yeah, that's great though. It's always great stuff.
Yeah, so I think it's obviously be a good thing. Hopefully, if you can get down to one of his sessions, maybe then who knows, we could see potentially NXT UK bound. So who knows? So now we're going to go on to the match, I guess, that we were most intrigued about, and that was the Nigerian drum fight between Biggie and Apollo Crews. Now, was I the only one that was disappointed with the lack of drum use in this match? You build it up as a Nigerian drum match. Yes, there were drums at ringside, but it was mainly a kendo stick match with a couple of tables thrown in.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying last night in the build-up when you two guys had left and me and Rob continued for the last bit, I was saying that as far as entrances, I would have loved to see a Nigerian-themed entrance for Apollo. People coming out playing drums and stuff like that. Like with this match, it just made sense. But they didn't. And then in the match, they, like you say, they barely used drums. And the match in itself, it was hard hitting and it was decent spots, but I was quite underwhelmed by it. I think again it's because I was hoping for something more. I mean, it didn't have to be my idea of having a drum in every corner and bashing someone's head off of it, to win. But still, just more use of the drums, more kind of special things. But at the same time, the attack, that was shocking and it was out of nowhere. So that was cool. It's an interesting way to take it, because I didn't expect Apollo to be kind of like the cowardly heel now with henchmen. I expected Apollo to be strong, I guess, because of the way he looks. He's physically, he's agile, but he looks like a unit. You know what I mean? So I really thought it would be like that, but maybe he's going to be the cowardly heel now. So, but I guess they've done it with Roman as well, haven't they? You can be the big, strong hench guy, but still come across as the cowardly heel at times. It doesn't always have to be the Miz.
And Commander Aziz is the new name that Babakato or Babatunde is going by.
Well, a lot of people saying General Aziz last night as well.
Yeah, so it's either General or Commander. I don't think they're entirely set on it at the moment, but it's
apparently they copyrighted the name or something, didn't they? So
yeah, and apparently, so people were saying about does he have any links to it? Because so strangely, he's half Polish and half Nigerian. So his mum's Polish, dad's Nigerian. So that's where the Nigerian stuff will fit in to that
Very
side of it.
interesting
But obviously
combination,
grew up in Poland, so
it's cool though. Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting combination.
Mm.
Yeah, like
better than Raw Underground. So
this is where so what I said earlier about the time thing. So this is where I started to get annoyed, like after this match, or after the women's match, so this match, I just feel that if they had just not replayed like almost the entirety of the Orton and Fiend match, like before the main event,
yeah,
you know, and maybe trimmed a promo or two that Hogan and Bayley and that were doing down, you could have given this match an extra 2 or 3 minutes at least.
Yeah,
like have a street fight ending like 6 minutes. And obviously, you know, we was going on our pre-show talk. We were talking about, you know, how last month obviously it messed up. They only got like 5 minutes at Fastlane, but this month on WrestleMania, they're able to get like an extra minute with a street fight.
True. Yeah.
You know, I just think that WWE, they owe these performers more, but it's just a case of now we're like 4 matches in now, are we? 3 or 4 at least. Like there can't be many more. 5 matches. We have 5 matches of these. Bloody hell.
Wow.
You know, like Dan, you're muted.
We can't hear you. You're muted.
So sorry, this went 6 minutes 50 seconds, so it was like the second shortest match on the entire card as well. So you're telling me that you couldn't have literally got a few more minutes for it from someone?
Yeah,
it's just so frustrating because I just feel they wasted so much time, promo packages, backstage segments, re-showing stuff like if we got what happened an hour ago. It's just silly. But look,
that's bad enough when you do that on Raw. Like, why do you need to do that on a pay-per-view?
Yeah, and just and then obviously. So in terms of the actual match, though, like they got in as much as they probably could. I think they just kind of decided, look, let's just try and use everything, a bit of everything, do everything. And there was some nice spots in there. Like I really like the urinal at the steps. That looked disgusting. And obviously Apollo missing the splash through the table was really nice. There was that spear. My God, the spear. And it's always nice, spear,
yeah.
But I think it was extra kind of nice. I think Apollo just kind of he just kind of flew, didn't they? Just went with it. So you know they got quite a lot in, to be fair, in their 6 minutes 50. So it is a case of you know, we're going what we were talking about with NXT having 40 minutes.
Take note.
They did achieve quite a lot in barely 7 minutes.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just wanted a little bit more. You know, a little bit more. I think Biggie still looks strong out of this because obviously you know the Commander Aziz. You know, he's obviously like a very physical kind of being. We've seen him obviously around before, but it's just a case like, come on, like. I just feel we can do it a bit better than this for the IC Championship. It deserves more, and hopefully they might be able to rectify it in the coming weeks on SmackDown and give them a bit more time once things now things will be settled down a bit. Yeah,
and I think as well, obviously Big E now going 0-7 at WrestleMania. It's like surely you're thinking like he's got a. It's like he's had this loss to go up the card kind of thing. So it seems like they are going to hope. Well, I'm hoping that, you know, we could even see Big E as Roman's next challenger kind of thing. Spoiler, obviously, for the main event there. But, I mean, it's just... I think it's one of them things where this would probably have been one of the matches where I wouldn't have banked on an interference. I think there were other matches on this card and on night one where I would have seen an interference coming more. You know, I thought this might have had some kind of like a stipulation where.
I guess that's the point, though, isn't it? The shock, like it was shocking.
Exactly. So it was good in that sense, but you know, I guess I was thinking more, you know, so like for a tables match where the match will end when you put your opponent through a table, where you know it could have been like, oh, once you like. Break them through a drum or bust the djembe drum over someone's head.
I'm telling you.
There we go. Play you've got to try and play the theme song. Dong, dong.
I mean, it was all. I think how I said he described it was as a street fight, basically. So I wasn't too surprised. But they could at least. I just feel they could at least had green steel chairs, you know, to represent obviously Nigeria. They could have had. Even just basic the kendo stick, wrap them in, you know, gold and green. They do it for Christmas when they have the candy canes. You know, just literally, just a little bit of, you know, as much as the presentation and production overall on this show is very, very good. You know, It's just little touches like that, or it's just like, surely couldn't you ask someone just to do that?
There was no
a
money,
little bit of personality to it. Yeah, it's exactly again like what I was saying to Rob. Like Nigeria is one of those countries, just like Ireland, that have like great imagery around their kind of country. You know, like the Nigerian football shirts. You know, the Super Eagles, the the green, like that kind. It's like a real specific shade of green as well. You know, it's not just green. You know what I mean? Like, so there's a lot they could have done with it, and not just in Apollo's entrance, like I said, in the match type itself. So that is a bit of a shame, because it was. I mean, I did think it was just going to be a street fight with some drums, which it was. But again, like I said, they could have added a little bit of Nigerian flavour to it, couldn't they?
Yeah, they could have.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a bit disappointing in that sense, but I think they probably used up all the green paint on the drums, and the rest of the budget was all on the fireworks. So even Bailey got fireworks. So for
just asked for
ding dong, for ding dong goodbye, yeah. So there, we move on now to the Raw Women's Championship match, which was Asuka and Rhea Ripley. So this match was the third longest on the card. So the women's tag title match and the main event were the only two matches that went longer than this. I think it went. It's going to be controversial. I think it went slightly too long. I think it about 4 or 5 minutes too long for this one.
I don't know, because I mean, it's only like 10 minutes. How long was it?
14 minutes. 13 and a half.
That's still very short, though. That's the thing. That's still very short. I mean, because obviously, we're used to in other manias, like, women's matches would go like 18, 20 minutes. I don't know. I mean, the problem they had with this is that obviously there wasn't much of a reaction to Rhea Ripley, because obviously she hasn't done anything. Like, there's no feud here. It's just she just went, I want to talk. She basically Goldberged the Raw Women's Championship. The problem I had with this match, though, is the lack of consistency amongst the card. So this now is going to spoil something in the main event, because I have to link it. So in the main event, Jey Uso...
I think people know what happened, don't worry.
Yeah. Jey Uso took a DDT onto the steel steps from Edge. He had medical attention to come to him. Jey Uso, a man who has held the tag team championship on multiple occasions, been involved in ladder matches, tail matches, you name it, and is a full-time wrestler. Okay. Rhea Ripley takes a DDT off the apron, jumping DDT off the apron by Asuka, and just gets back up and just is able to continue the match.
Hard as nails, isn't it, mate?
So Rhea Ripley is more tough than Jey Uso, essentially, what you're saying. Like, I get, maybe the steel steps thing, but I mean, like, she face planted the floor. Like, that should have been it. And the fact that it didn't even factor into anything else in the match really bugged me, because I couldn't take the match seriously after that happened. Because, like, fair enough, because remember when Andrade, but may you rest in peace. Remember when he was essentially...
So people are going to think you're an outsider there.
No, he's not dead, guys.
Yeah. It's just a joke about being released, all right?
Andrade, when he was doing the DDT spot on the floor, remember when he was taking up the padding? And Rey Mysterio, a former world champion, was off television for like 2-3 weeks at a time. This is when Rey Mysterio kept returning every few weeks to get a pop, wasn't it? Rey Mysterio, Alberto Carrillo, they were off television because they took a DDT on the floor. But Rhea Ripley is able to take it and just be like, well, that's fine.
And then win the title.
Hard as nails, isn't it, mate? That's what it is.
Even John Cena at SummerSlam, when he took a DDT, fair enough, he then went to win. He then at least had to sell it like for a little bit. And then obviously he went to win. This is back in the Nexus match, of course. Yeah. But yeah, that really destroyed the match for me. And it's annoying as well, because I felt this match, it should have been better. I was a bit underwhelmed by it personally.
Yeah, for me it dragged. I liked Rhea playing the heel. I think it made sense for the match dynamic. But then her being a face as soon as the bell rang was a bit weird. Because, I mean, that bit was real. That bit was like, oh, we all want her to be happy because she's won the title. I'm happy for her and all that kind of stuff. That was real. So it's kind of tough in that sense. I do think she probably is going to go more of a babyface route now. But Yeah, so that kind of stuck out to me. But I like the dynamic in the match. I thought she performed well. I thought they both did, but I'm in agreement with Dan that I think the match went too long, and therefore, in a roundabout way, I agree with you as well, Lucas, that it was a little underwhelming because of that.
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, overall, it was decent, but I just think it was not even too long. I think it was a bit too like slow paced in places for me. You know, there were other matches that went similar length that were just like more boom, 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 and
true.
You know.
Like the song says, this is her brutality.
Oh God,
that's true. Oh, that was terrible, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, some people online are trying to pretend it was good, but it wasn't. Because the audio levels were terrible, really bad.
They seemed like they struggled with that the whole thing. I think it's the open air stadium.
Yeah, but like I said, even on NXT, they it was bad. So I don't know. It's like they've all forgot how to do it, but it was a lot of really bad audio levels. I think it's because they're so focused on getting the fake crowd noises in, because there was so much of that as well, that it just kind of messed things up. But it weren't good, and they were all miming as well, the rest of them. So like it was so uncomfortable. But it was a good moment. But like it's kind of like the DX band one. We look back on that, but it was a bit of a sloppy performance of the DX band. So, but as much as I loved it, it was a bit sloppy, and I think this one's the same.
Yeah, I think it wasn't fantastic, was it? I mean, I've seen better live performances at WrestleMania, but it just seems like people get nervous on that kind of stage. I think it might be the first time that band have played in a stadium, so they may have had some nerves there. And you know, I think it seemed like she was slightly like out of time as well with the music when
but I think a lot of it comes down to levels. I think she might not have it might not have been heard, you know. She might not have a good feed in her ear, you know. If it was mixed that bad on TV, I can only imagine what she was hearing in the stadium. Like, it's so hard live to keep time and stuff like that. So she's playing to a backing track because everybody else is miming and all this stuff's going on, and the sound's escaping and stuff, like you said. It's not going to be good.
Yeah, didn't do him no favors at all, did it?
Yeah. But Rhea on though, she won, so it was all right.
Yeah, I think overall it was the right result. I think, you know, Ripley winning it, and you can see the emotion, and she is the first ever like Australian like women's singles champion on the main roster. First woman, I think, to hold the NXT UK, NXT, and a main roster women's championship now as well.
That's pretty cool.
So I think so. WWE.com actually said that she's the first ever Australian world champion, so they're classing men's as well. So there's no Australian man has ever held
there's not
the title. Obviously, I didn't think they were going to put it on either Murphy or Nathan Jones, but there we go.
Maybe Jones could have come close if things worked out, but by the way they looked at people like that, but didn't really
exactly. But yeah, I mean, I think obviously it's nice that they're obviously protecting the Riptide as well. You know, not having Asuka kick out of it, and yes, I think overall the right person won. I'm interested to see like how she goes about this title run now. If it is just going to be like just tearing through the women's division, or if they're going to, Well, it's nice as well the fact obviously that she got that victory after, you know, a lot of us were saying that she should have actually gone over last year at WrestleMania, but. Yeah, again as well, this is another match, obviously, we've not even touched on the prediction things, but pretty much the last three matches we all picked correctly. And this was actually Lucas's best showing in the entire prediction thing.
Well,
you only predicted three matches wrong the entire night, and two of them were the women's tag team ones.
Big match Lucas, isn't it? That's fine.
Yeah, just steps up on the big stage. So we have deliberately now left this match to just before the main event because it's the one that had the biggest consequences, not necessarily for WWE, but for us, for our predictions, and that was Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. And I can officially now reveal there is a conspiracy theory. Me and Rob know there's a conspiracy theory because Sami Zayn did not win. So, me and Rob both picked Sami Zayn to win this match. The fact that it went on third on the night as well. Scott and Lucas, you both picked Kevin Owens to win. Kevin Owens winning the match, which meant that it was then mathematically impossible for anyone else to win the trophy. And I mean, Scott, did you manage to find?
I did have a nice little delivery earlier, and here we go. Look at that. Champion.
Congratulations.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I said it. It does. I said I was going to stick it on the table behind me. I've since changed table, but there we go. Right next to Ronnie Storm, who we ended up naming last night. That show went on long enough to give him a name, and yeah, I'm very pleased.
Right, let's do right. Go on, acceptance speech now. There we go. You're front and center.
Oh, that was kind of it. Well, I didn't have much else. I want to thank Ronnie Storm and me for being so clever and predicting so well. But it's crazy how it came down. Like again, for the most of the year, I was trading spaces, but top for a long time.
It was literally you and Rob, wasn't it, for most of?
Yeah, but the fact that it went down to 1 point and that you were right there behind it, and again, even Lucas catching up scarily on the last 2 nights.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like it was crazy close in the end. I mean, we'll just quickly flash up the
beautiful
actual,
graphic. Can't wait to see
now. So, I mean, that you can see literally that is how close it was. It's got 62. And the only reason I actually made 61 points was because I was the only one that said Roman Reigns was going to win the main event. Otherwise, like I would have been trailing behind there. And then obviously, it's just, you know, when you feel like you should really go with your gut instinct. My gut instinct was telling me Shayna and Nia were going to win. And I talked myself out of it.
Right, look, Ronnie Storm's inspiring people now.
There we go.
Yeah, you could use his name. Don't worry. Ronnie, is that right? Yeah, all right. Yeah, cool.
Ronnie Storm, there we go.
There we go. We'll leave him like that. Oh, no, so, you don't want to stay still. He's still drunk from last night.
So we've got that bit of housekeeping out of the way now. So what did we actually think of the match? Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn.
Yeah, one of those where it's exactly where it needed to be. I mean, last night, again, we were talking about, is it going to be the indie kind of, showing, or is it going to be the overly done celebrity thing, or are they going to have a nice happy medium? And I think they found a nice happy medium. Logan Paul had to be stunned. He had to kind of be some sort of a heel or like get beat up by the babyface, in Kevin Owens, and he did. Took the stunner really well, almost like spiked it like RVD would on a DDT or something. It was brutal. And then the match itself, though, really good, man. Like really exciting stuff. Loads of hard hitting moves. Like, man, I'm really pleased for everyone involved. I think Logan Paul, pulled off a good performance in himself, just simply being ringside and reacting and stuff like that. And the 2 guys in the ring, they told a great story. Something I do mention in my Hangover reviews is when the 2 guys were punching each other like mad in the corner. And like, although it's physical and it doesn't look like love, for me, it was like they were showing each other love. Like they were being like, look where we are. You know what I mean? Like they were energetic. And like, because when Owens came out, he was on fire. He was amped up for that event, like he was the one that showed the most how much he was like the fans. Oh my goodness, the fans. Like he looked like he was close like to tears, like he was so like amped up on that entrance that it was like it got me excited. And yeah, great match all in all. And obviously
KO Mania, isn't it?
KO Mania helped me win this prestigious award. So
yeah.
I will, yeah. Thank you, Kevin. I should have thanked Kevin Owens.
Yeah, I mean, I think to be fair though, when you do see, there's a little spoiler for you guys now. When you do eventually see the documentary from Sami Zayn, you'll see me and Rob pop up and explain the conspiracy theory, the dodgy referee.
Everyone's in with it now. Yeah.
It even filters down to these levels that Sami got screwed.
Of course, yeah.
But no, I think overall, I think it was good because it had those like WWE touches, but then it also had the Steen and Generico touches as well, which was really it was really nice to see. And the fact of, they were just left to kind of just get on with their own devices. And, you say about them like laying it in on each other as well. It's a little bit like how Drew and Sheamus were with each other. It's like, you've got that much trust in your opponent. It's just like, just hit me as hard as you bloody can, and then we'll sort it all out in the back.
We both know what this is. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, if I get a stray one and it does go a little bit harder than it should, then oh well, it goes a bit harder than it should. But at the end of the day, it's at WrestleMania. I think if you'd have said to him a few years back, oh, you two are going to be having a big singles match at WrestleMania, they probably would have been like, yeah, it'd be nice, but don't know if it's going to actually come to fruition. SummerSlam, Logan and Jake Paul versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Book it now.
I don't know if they could put Kevin and Sami. I mean, they definitely could, and that would make sense as far as if you took it away from this storyline. That would make sense if you put it on paper. But the storyline, how do they get there? I really do think there's a strong possibility that we get both Pauls in the ring in a tag match. But which I think, again, whatever you think of those guys, it's not it's not really relevant. It's a big payday for them, but it's also a big thing for WWE and the guys involved, and they definitely get the rub last night, and I'm pleased to see it.
Or could they even have one team with Kevin, one team with Sami? Another way they could be.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool because they've kind of played off sibling rivalry in the past anyway, so that would be kind of cool. But I mean, the fact is, there will be people that watched last night that will now go, that Kevin Owens guy is quite cool, or go like, oh, that Sami Zayn guy is quite funny. You know what I mean? Like there will be things like that. Maybe not cool for Kevin because he beat up their hero, but even still, it might filter into another match. They might like the look of someone else, like Rhea Ripley looking strong or whatever else. There's going to be benefits from this, so people have got to remember that.
Put them together, put the tag straps on them.
Now you go a bit too far.
Yeah, true. It means they have to do so with the tag division.
You must have seen my Facebook post today regarding celebrity tag belts. But
celebrity tag belts, okay.
Yeah, I put that basically.
Jonathan Ross and Keith Lemon, the inaugural champions.
No, I put that basically what they should do. They should have a celebrity tag. Maybe not. Well, I guess like a belt. Let's say it's a belt, or maybe it's like an annual kind of thing. Because at the end of the day, they don't care about their own tag teams, and they only care about celebrities with people. Celebrities, they all want a piece of WWE anyway. They all want it when they're involved, and they're getting good ones now, like Bad Bunny, who actually wants to do stuff. And like, end of the day, like if Bad Bunny and Damian Priest were like celebrity tag champions, like it would bring some headlines. And then,
they could do it as an invitational, like especially when we invite any celebrity in the world to come along, and every year does the celebrity win or does the wrestler win? It'd be pretty cool.
The good thing is celebrities go in Hall of Fame. They're winning 7 championships, so they're
so give them titles.
I mean, to be fair, it's like. I'll be more interested in seeing Bad Bunny and Damian Priest than I would be seeing half of the SmackDown tag teams. So it's just it would make sense. But anyway, in terms of this match, it was good. It was basically the equivalent of the Cesaro Rollins match the night before to an extent, where it was the most NXT that the main roster is going to get. Most likely. I thought, it was good that it was it was about 10 minutes long, and you had Logan Paul coming in afterwards. I was happy with that. I was worried that they were going to have Logan Paul maybe as an enforcer, or maybe he has to do something in the match. And I'm glad that was not the case, and that Kevin Owens got his another Mania moment really, because he's kind of on a roll now, isn't he?
After the first few ones that were kind of, but he's even said, if you see the behind the scenes, but remember like when Vince didn't want to talk to him and all that kind of stuff, like it started off rough for him. But the past few years he's done really well at Mania.
But I enjoyed this, and I think I'd like to see more Logan Paul. I think, and if they can get Jake involved too, that could be a good way, a good thing to do. There's definitely eyes that will watch that product. I know there'll be people watching who might be sick and tired of celebrities in wrestling, but we are where we are. The star power just isn't in the company anymore. But
both were done really well. Bad Bunny performed amazingly with respect, and Logan Paul stayed out of it until he was needed. So they did it very, very well.
Yeah, they were booked very well, and I guess if you've got people like that who are happy to be on their TV as well, and to get involved with stuff like promos and interesting angles, that's the kind of caveat. Like when they had do you remember when they had those Saturday Night Live people, Colin Jost and
Oh yeah, with Braun.
With Braun, like they literally just didn't care. They did like one segment, and then did the match.
Lasted right to the end of like the Andre Battle Royal as well.
Yeah, Conor Jobs was the last one eliminated by Braun.
Oh mate, this is. I think we've inspired some some fantasy booking here.
I think Shatner looks really good for 90 years old.
It's going to be what? He's 90.
William Shatner.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So does that mean next year William Shatner and Ozzy Osbourne are going to team up as the Hall of Fame tag team to go for the tag titles? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Shatner's 90 years old. Obviously living a good life, it seems.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'd be funny. I'm thinking of Shatner. Just the fact that he said Humberto Carrillo as well, like. Just the most random person.
It's going to be a catering.
It works best,
a catering table match. There we go. So let's now get on and talk main event of the evening. That was Daniel Bryan versus Edge versus Roman Reigns. This match, right from the off, had a big fight feel about it. They went just over the 20-minute mark. It was superb storytelling. It showed even as a triple threat match, you don't need to go long. Triple H, pay attention, please. But yeah, I thought overall this match was brilliant. It had the near falls in it. It had the spot. One of my favorite spots in it was pretty much when Roman Reigns was in the crossface from Edge and looked like he was about to tap it and Bryan just grabbed his hand.
Amazing, yeah.
As if to say, like, no, you're not tapping out. And then locked in the yes lock on him. And it was just like...
Yeah.
Like,
perfect way to use the stipulation. Yeah.
Exactly.
And it works with the story as well. Edge keep thinking you're stealing my limelight again. Like, just get out of it.
The thing is, though, Dan, as much as you used to criticise Triple H there, Daniel Bryan got that spot from the Triple H, HBK and Chris Benoit match. Good triple threat match, but it literally copycats that exact match.
Yeah.
Mania 20, Mania 30, and Mania 35, they do the same because you do the table spot to get rid of the babyface. Both of them did it. Daniel Bryan took the powerbomb up from from Reigns, didn't they?
Yeah, that was cool as well.
Then obviously at WrestleMania 30, it was the Batista bomb RKO. Then obviously at WrestleMania 20, it was a double suplex by HBK and Triple H. And then they did that same spot with the grabbing the arm thing. In that one. So like they definitely borrowed a lot from. It's just the mold, I think, to make a good triple threat match. I think what the difference here was that towards the end there was like a shift where obviously Edge he went to get the chairs, and they added more of a kind of like an Extreme Rules element to it in a way, I guess.
They basically played on the no disqualification thing, didn't they, in the triple threat for definite.
Yeah. But really, I was thinking last night, that's just a given, isn't it? Like, oh, something's happened. Ugh. They they don't usually play up to it until they really need it in one spot. But this one just was like, oh, everything's a no DQ. We know that, right? But surely, because you can't get DQ because no one automatically wins. But what they could do, and they'll never do this because it helps them book to have these holes. But what they could do is you are disqualified from the match. You go, and the match continues without you. Surely that's the best way to do it. But again, that doesn't give them the creative liberties that they want to use it for. So I understand that. Yeah,
look, I think, like I didn't mind it too much. Like obviously Jey Uso, he got involved a couple of times. Like it helped. Well, I guess it helped Roman. I thought the finishing sequence was really well. And again, they protected their finishes too, like in this. But I loved it. You're right. I love the bit when they were both in the crossface, basically.
Yeah.
And obviously with Reigns like that. And there was some real nice tension like towards the end. Again, like my only kind of gripe with it was I don't know whether Roman should have pinned them both. That's the only thing I'm thinking.
Yeah, and also again, I'm getting in technicalities now, right? Could you not make an argument that Edge won because he covered Daniel Bryan? Yes, Edge's shoulders were down too, but surely the ref is counting for the first official fall. It's like when
he was technically being pinned, wasn't he, before Roman even got on top of them?
Yeah, exactly. So he was technically. So the ref technically is going down for that first pin. But saying that, Roman landed on top is a break of a pin, isn't it? So yeah, Roman Reigns would win then.
Yeah, I think the rule should just be whoever's the person on the top of it. It could be a pile of loads of people. I guess.
Bundle.
Yeah, but I think it's because if you think about it, you're playing a game, right? As soon as you do anything, that breaks up the pin. So I guess any impact would break up that original pin. So yeah, because I saw some people saying last night, is this going to go into a storyline where Edge, you can say Edge technically should have won and whatever else, especially more so if Edge went into the cowardly heel, which I don't think he's going to do. But yeah, it made Roman look cool though, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like just before I shoot and you guys maybe have a thing. Like the only other things I had to say really on WrestleMania is that the promo package that aired actually next year's WrestleMania. I think you saw like they removed the date, didn't they, from it?
Yeah, like you said, yeah.
They keep saying WrestleMania Saturday and WrestleMania Sunday. So my bold prediction is it's 2 nights every year now. They're going to copyright all to the terms WrestleMania Saturday, WrestleMania Sunday. So they
really hyped up the Sunday, didn't they? Yeah.
Well, they've got WrestleMania Backlash, so they're probably just going to do. They're not going to do 2 nights anymore. It's just going to be a whole like.
Okay, yeah, this is we've flirted with that all night, all day, even. Lucas, what's your thoughts?
Okay, this is getting ridiculous now, WWE. Like we let you off. This is because we let them have WrestleMania SmackDown, and we didn't really as fans, we didn't make a big deal out of it because it was like, okay, like it's WrestleMania week, we're excited.
Yeah, it's annoying, but it is what it is.
But because they've done that, they've now just gone crazy. I believe,
but there's no consequence, is there? It's like we can't do anything. Like in other industries, I feel like they would go, oh, hold on, there was a bad backlash, but they won't. They'll just go with a bad backlash. Funny enough, I've used that word, but yeah, backlash is self-explanatory. Like like I don't get. You know why I think it really is? Because they love the WrestleMania Revenge Tour. I think they love using that name, and because there is no tour, I think they think, oh, people are fine with. No, we're fine with that because it's a tour.
Yeah,
or to promote it to Peacock, I think it may be as well because
I think it's to Peacock. I think it's Peacock who are seeing that most likely they know that the biggest event is WrestleMania. Let's just have more of it. Basically,
it's horrific, mate. It's like the Greatest Royal Rumble and all that stuff. And what did they call? Didn't they have a WrestleMania Saudi one? What was it like?
Well, they referred to it as bigger than WrestleMania.
Oh, it was like a WrestleMania. That was it. Yeah, it was just that. It was
WrestleMania was the initial claim they made of it.
Saudi Mania running wild.
They think, oh, this is a good thing. Let's run with it. But they are diminishing the good thing that they have. They are making their own property look bad. It's not getting more out of your property. It's making it it's decreasing its value, in my opinion.
And what I'm annoyed about is I'm pre-annoyed about this because I think it's what's going to happen is that they've obviously got all the villains with the championships at the moment. They're going to have the big moment at WrestleMania Backlash where the faces win from the villains on a few of occasions, and that will really annoy me. Obviously, I don't disagree with championships changing outside of WrestleMania. Just to clarify, but just the fact that it feels like this, if they've only booked how they booked because WrestleMania Backlash was coming up, this is stupid because
and then they can go, now WrestleMania's done. Fine. It's like no, Backlash should be same as like the Payback one. Payback should be used after SummerSlam, and Backlash should be used after Mania. As self-explanatory, if there are feuds to continue because of all the fallout, then great. But we don't need to be calling it WrestleMania.
But this is why I like the Extreme Rules being after Mania, because you knew it was going to be at least
breaks
an escalation of things that happened at Mania. So it wasn't like, we're just going to actually finish a feud at Extreme Rule. It's just going to be a case of like, okay, we're going to do like a different match next month. It's like, okay, that makes sense to me. And I can see, okay, as a fan, you'd want to get involved. But yeah, this is just nonsense from them. The minute it got announced, I saw the graphic come up. I was just like, no, this is absolute rubbish. WrestleMania finishes after this next match. It is over. We're not doing it again. You already had 2 nights of it. You've already had a WrestleMania week, as we discussed obviously last night, didn't we? It's now basically WrestleMania week, but it's like, is it now WrestleMania month?
I mean, if that was the case, then technically, then we would still be doing our predictions because that ends at WrestleMania, which it ends at WrestleMania. WrestleMania, the event is
now that's a conspiracy now, mate. That's a conspiracy.
It's ended at WrestleMania, so
they are ruining they are ruining what WrestleMania is, in my opinion. You know, it is devaluing it. It's not WrestleMania Backlash. We like WrestleMania because it's special. We don't need more than that. It feels bad to get out of here with a negative view, so on the frustration from what WWE have done there. But I will say it's been a good WrestleMania. It felt weird. It was always going to feel weird. What have we got here? When they were showing the pay-per-views coming out logos under Survivor Series, it had a tagline of the best of the best. So it kind of makes sense, taglines, and that Survivor Series, but that's interesting as well. I didn't pick up on that. But I think this is going to be the thing going forward, boys. I think they're going to be doing a lot of stupid little naming things like this. Yeah. But hey-ho, at least Mania was decent.
Yeah. And it's like the season finale, isn't it? And then it just starts again as of tonight with the Raw after WrestleMania, which you will hear my thoughts on next Saturday when I cover the Raw. NXT's move to Tuesday nights, and I'll be covering SmackDown. So the Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania, ironically with no fans again. One thing I did think, though, was bad with the main event was the fact that the whole crowd were not doing the yes chants. I mean, surely someone could have put some string on them cardboard cutouts to make them go like that. But anyway, overall, I thought that was a really good match. I thought it was the right ending. I think it made Roman Reigns look an absolute beast. It's definitely going to lead to something bigger, potentially Brock Lesnar with the Paul Heyman thing. I could definitely see Texas, Roman and Brock, Hollywood, Roman and Rock. But yeah, who knows? Anyway,
Roman and Brock again, buddy. How much time are we going to do this?
But yeah, saying that it felt weird that he was getting booed, but as a heel, obviously, and that at the end, I wasn't sure if I just feel like, Roman won because it was just such a weird scenario that triple threat. I still don't know how I feel about who should have won.
Well, everything's weird with it because obviously it's a case of would Roman have won regardless of this triple threat thing?
Yeah.
You know, we'll see. I mean, maybe. We'll see. I mean, I think that as well. Roman Reigns is a little fact here for you. He's the first villain to retain the championships. The Miz back at WrestleMania 27, so 10 years ago. We could count Brock Lesnar in that, but I'm not too sure. Because I think Brock Lesnar Brock Lesnar. I see he's just basically Brock Lesnar, but in the match against Reigns, he was de facto face because everyone hated Reigns. Is what I say. This is back at WrestleMania 34. Remember when he teased going to UFC, and everyone was like, "Yeah, he's leaving, he's gone." Blah blah. Obviously, Reigns going to win. Then he beat Reigns, but it's a case of like he wasn't really. He was faced because everyone literally hated Roman Reigns.
Right, but
the club basically is the Miz and Triple H who are in that club of people who have, in the main event, retained the...
Funny how rare it is, ain't it?
Yeah, as a villain. Yeah, Triple H was the first to do it. It took 16 years of WrestleMania for that to happen. And another 11, and now another 10. So, WrestleMania 47.
I'll think ahead for my predictions.
I mean... I think it all depends as well. Next year, Scott, do you want to align yourself as heel or face? Because you've got a title to defend next year at WrestleMania. So.
I tell you what, next year, before we get out of it, this will be the last thing we mention, guys. Another match that has been inspired by Lucas's idea. Brian Cox versus Drew Gulak in a winner gets 24/7 title shot. Next year, WrestleMania, book it.
Yeah, so one final look before we go. Let's have a look. One final look at the table. Scott finishing top with 62 points. Rob and myself level on 61 points. And Lucas, surprisingly, on 56 points. A super WrestleMania for him. Scott, you are the champion, the holder of the championship. We will see you guys at Backlash. We're not going to bother with a WrestleMania tagline. We'll see you at Backlash where everything resets to zero. We all start afresh. And who knows, Lucas could even go top for the very first time.
Oh, man, that'd be good start,
money, smart money on Lucas next time. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for watching. And Rob, wherever you are, thank you for being part of this from this year. We will see you guys soon and take care.
Cool.
Cheers, guys. Yay!
Cheerio. Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year. as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.